What's up, guys? So today we are trying something a little bit new. If you're not familiar with every new patch, we do a very lengthy, very in-depth tier list stream. And that is where myself and the rest of the Brain Trust get together and debate the pros and cons of every new character added with that patch. And then we fill out a spreadsheet and we make an infographic and a whole bunch of other stuff. We completely evaluate a character's stats, their kits. We do a breakdown by game mode and see where we think they'll excel and where we think that they'll struggle. We evaluate how well they'll do with their proper synergy and all sorts of other stuff. And normally it's several hours long. So what we're going to be doing today is basically a summary. We're just going to give you the Cliff Notes version, the TLDR. So that sounds good to you? Let's get into it. Drax had one thing going for him.
Yeah.
Taunt on Spawn. That was it.
Now his thing is, you're the second best character to taunt on Spawn.
Yes.
Congrats.
The position's been filled.
Yes.
You're fired.
Congratulations, Drax. You are actually invisible.
I become invisible.
This is the tier list spreadsheet, which anyone has access to. I will drop a link to that in the video description below. And of course, there will be an infographic to follow, and there will be a link to that in the video description below as well. But just a super quick rundown of how this spreadsheet actually works. You can see here the characters are listed alphabetically, and then we give them a ranking for Campaign Raid and Dark Dimension. We give them a ranking for Arena Offense, Blitz, and Alliance War Offense. And then we give them a ranking for Arena Defense, AI Control, and Alliance War Defense. And then we average those three together and we give them an overall ranking. And then there's actually a second page, if you look at the tabs on the bottom, where we rank them by class and by origin. And I did want to real quick give a shout out to the MSF.gg Discord bot, which of course you can use freely if you go to discord.gg/Khasino. And of course you can get it on your own Discord server via msf.gg. Their Discord bot does a whole ton of useful stuff. Among other things, you can just type the ~kit space and then the character name, and that will generate a lovely infographic that shows you the character's kit, as well as a stat wheel and all sorts of other good stuff. All right, first up on the docket is Shatterstar. Taking a look at Shatterstar, you can see he's Hero, Cosmic, Mutant, Brawler, X Factor, and then he has the temporary trait Showstopper. Just to give you a quick rundown of his stats, as far as percentiles, he's in the 83rd percentile for health, the 77th percentile for damage, only the 24th percentile for armor, 63rd for focus, 19% for resistance, 88th percentile for speed with a speed of 124, so he's fairly quick. He is a damage dealer. He has some good interactions with crit, but he does a lot of self-sustaining and self-healing thanks to his barrier and his actual just 20% max health healing on turn. He doesn't do an absolutely incredible amount of damage. He's a very robust damage dealer. He's more of a bruiser, really. In particular, he doesn't have tons of utility. He has multi-hit on his basic, and he has a 2-turn defense down on his special. He will do above average damage, but nothing mind-blowing, not crazy single target, not crazy massive AoE or anything like that, but it's going to be backed by really good health, a lot of barrier, a lot of self-healing, so it's just going to be really, really sturdy. When he's paired up with Longshot, he's going to gain speed bar whenever he crits. He's going to get an extra chunk of damage on his basic attack, and considering his cooldowns, he's going to be using his basic attack a fair amount, and he's going to have really good crit chance and really good crit damage. We are giving him elite in Campaign Raid and Dark Dimension. We're giving him elite in Arena Offense, Blitz, and Alliance War. And then we are giving him just usable for Arena Defense, AI, and Alliance War Defense. And it's mainly because he'll open with his chain as opposed to his 2-turn defense down, when in reality, it'd probably be better if he used his 2-turn defense down to at least create better opportunities for his team to do a bit more damage. Overall, he ranks elite, and at this time, the only synergy we're aware of for him is Longshot, where so far it would seem that he's going to jump up to a low demigod when he's actually being used alongside Longshot. All right, now we're going to give you a quick rundown on Longshot. Longshot, as you can see, is Hero, Cosmic, Mutant, Blaster, X Factor, and he has the temporary tag Showstopper. As for his stats, he is 63rd percentile for health, 64th for damage, 37th percentile for armor, 63% for focus, 19% for resistance, and 64% for speed, coming in at 113 speed. However, his speed is a bit deceptive, as anytime he or an ally gets a crit, he's going to give himself and any X Factor allies 20% speed bar. He is sharing crit chance with his entire team, especially X Factor allies. He is a blaster through and through. He is also very robust. As for his damage, it's very, very good. He gets all sorts of crit multipliers. So just like Shatterstar, He's an excellent, excellent raider candidate. The two things in particular that are really, really great about Longshot is every other turn, he has an AoE that hits everyone for a moderate amount of damage and applies a bleed to everyone. The shining gem of Longshot's kit is his ultimate. His ultimate is just a massive single target nuke. Not only is it going to do 550% damage, but it comes with an extra 50% crit chance. He's giving himself another 25% crit chance on top of his 10% base crit chance. And if he's a level 5 raider, then this ability will have 100% crit chance. So it's guaranteed to crit. And a crit is going to do another 130% damage. And if Shatterstar is an ally, then his crit damage will go up, so it'll do an extra 155% damage. And then, because of the way the turns line up, if you use them with Shatterstar, Shatterstar will put a defense down on a target pretty much just before Longshot uses his ult. So you can just crack someone, a maxed out Longshot hitting into a defense downed opponent, even without having offense up for himself. It's going to do like 400,000 damage, something ungodly. Long cooldown, but just a huge, huge nuke. And then it's backed up by him being very, very tanky, lots of self-healing, tons of speed gain, making everyone else crit more, and just constant AoEs every other turn. We gave him Demigod across the board in all game modes. He's just sturdy, very healthy damage output, good nuke. Demigod overall for this guy for sure. All right, so now we're going to talk real quick about Kitty Pryde. As you can see, she is Hero, Global, Mutant, Protector, X-Men, and more importantly, Astonishing X-Men. Kitty Pryde is a very interesting character. In some instances, she'll really shine, and in others, she'll really underperform. So we'll start by talking about her stats. She is 26th percentile for health, 15th percentile for damage, 24th percentile for armor. So just stat-wise, she's not doing great. She's going to do very little damage. Just above average focus, 54th percentile, 83% resistance, and 45% for speed. So she's not that quick either. She is able to clear positive effects with every basic, so that's definitely useful. Her special is a 2-turn offense down to all enemies, and it's going to further flip some taunts to defense down. So that is, across all modes, probably the most effective thing she can do, and she can do that on turn 1 when you're piloting her. And then she has a splash damage that is going to apply disrupted, and it's unavoidable and it's unblockable. And she does have an innate 30% dodge chance from her maxed out passive. And if she gets below 50%, she'll hop in stealth. So she looks out for herself a little bit, but she's not doing a lot of damage. She's not very tanky. Overall, she's not a super solid solo character. However, she has additional bonuses when paired with Jubilee. She does quite a bit for the Astonishing X-Men. And then she has raid-specific bonuses. Her passive in raid is on enemy turn, she's going to give an evade to the most injured Astonishing X-Men ally or self. So if you're running her as a solo character in raid, on any enemy turn, she's going to give herself evade. So she will be very hard to hit. Only things that can't be dodged, things that are unavoidable, or attacks that are multi-hit will actually even get through to her. And if she's used her special, she'll have been able to offense down them. If she gets too low, she'll hop into stealth and they won't be able to target her. So she's actually going to be really, really hard to hit in raid. Overall, her kit, it doesn't really wow, but yeah, she has some interesting survivability in raid. She's a bit of an interesting case. We ranked her obviously as a solo character first and foremost, and then we accounted for her synergy, but we did not include her Jubilee synergy because she doesn't get any Jubilee synergy in this patch because there's no Jubilee. So we ended up giving her Demigod for campaign raid and Dark Dimension, but that's primarily because in raid as a solo character, we actually feel she is God tier. However, it's all of those grouped together. Then we gave her Elite for Arena Offense, Blitz, and Alliance War because she can open up with the 2-turn offense down, which is pretty good. She's got the disrupts, the buff clear. And then we gave her Usable for Arena Defense, AI, and Alliance War Defense because she'll open up with her Disrupted, which means she's going to wait quite a while to do the offense downs, which is the main thing that she can actually bring to the team. All right, so now we're going to talk about Iceman. Iceman is Hero, Global, Mutant, Controller, and Astonishing X-Men. He's a pretty solid all-around controller. So talking about his stats, he's 67th percentile for health, 44th percentile for damage, which makes sense, 69th percentile for armor, which is nice, and that works well with all of his barrier. He's only in the 17th percentile for focus, and we'll talk about that in a sec. 83rd percentile for resistance, and 64th percentile for speed. So regarding his focus, while he does have a much lower focus stat than majority of characters, where his focus number is still roughly equivalent to the resistance stat of about half the characters in the game. And then you can take him to Skirmisher ISO level 5 to give him 50% more focus, which is a huge boost. And then, while this is not confirmed, it seems very, very likely that Jubilee will even further increase his focus. But yeah, as a solo character, he won't have incredible focus, but it should be enough to get the job done most of the time. Basic, he's going to gain a ton of focus, so he's going to very reliably slow with his basic, as well as his counters and assists. His special, basically, it's going to damage a primary target, and if they are slowed, he's going to stun them. So a nice targeted stun, which he can do on turn 1 if someone else slows them first, which is, for example, something that Storm can do with her special, since she is faster than him. His ultimate, he's going to gain a crap ton of barrier, the max amount, and then he's going to do an AoE and add +1 slow to the entire enemy team. And then his passive, he has some good synergy with the Astonishing X-Men, but as a solo character, he's going to get barrier when an enemy gets slowed, which he can do a lot of times himself. And he has a chance to attack an enemy on their turn. And if they're slowed, he's always going to attack an enemy on their turn. And then he's going to lower their armor if they're slowed. And in raids, he's going to significantly lower their damage if they're slowed. So it's just a very, very solid, reliable, all-around controller. He's definitely one of the better slow manipulating characters. The reason why he's a bit of a leg up on Quake, he is just so much safer. He is providing a lot of the utility of slows and stuns, backed by really decent health, good armor, and a ton of barrier. So he's a controller that is going to apply good control effects with slows, that's not going to get killed too quickly. As for the rankings that we gave Iceman, we gave him Demigod across the board in all game modes, which of course is Demigod overall. All right, now we're going to take a look at Yelena Belova. We'll start off by taking a look at her stats. She is 38th percentile for health, 90th percentile for damage, 37th for armor, 63rd for focus, 51st for resistance, and 88th percentile for speed. So she's very fast. She has a very good damage stat. And other than that, she's kind of squishy. And that lines up perfectly with her kit. You can see she's hero, global, skill, blaster, and military. Her counter and assist is just going to do some damage, nothing special. Her basic attack is going to do some alright damage. It will call for an assist if she's with her team. And then if she's in stealth, which she will usually be in stealth by the time she's using her basic, then she will steal 2 positive effects from the enemy or herself. Her special, which she's going to use right away, she's going to steal a positive effect, and then she's going to disrupt someone for 2 turns, do some good damage, and hop right into stealth. And then her ultimate, which is going to be ready on turn 2, is going to hit primary and adjacent targets. It's unblockable, and it's going to clear all deflect, but here's where it gets interesting. That ability has 50% extra crit chance. If you're running her as a raider, then you are looking at a 75% chance to crit. If she gets offense up thanks to her passive, she's going into stealth. And while she has stealth, she's going to get 100% additional crit damage. And a crit already increases the damage output of an attack by 130%. So this is going to raise it another 100% to 230%. And then if it's Raider, I think it adds like another 15%. So like 245%. But yeah, it does a lot. And then she's also going to lower the crit chance of all the enemies. So if there's no one adding a bunch of crit chance to the enemy team, then she's basically going to drop them all to having no crit chance. And then she's going to reduce the chance of people assisting on non-attack abilities. She exists to kind of counter teams like the Marauders. She has a pretty niche kit. She's definitely a bit of a glass cannon, but she's also not putting out massive damage to a lot of targets. She's just going to do a ton of damage to a couple targets quickly. We ended up giving her usable green in Campaign Raid and Dark Dimension because she doesn't have a lot of sustain, even though she's going to be hiding in stealth, AoEs and stuff. She's going to be a bit of a liability. And then we gave her elite for the other modes, which make her elite overall. All right, and finally, we're going to take a look at Red Guardian. So taking a look at Red Guardian's stats, 95th percentile for health, 28th percentile for damage, 83rd for armor, 42nd for focus, 75% for resistance, and a lowly 6th percentile for speed. As you may have guessed from the very high health, very high armor, and very low speed, Red Guardian is a tank. And he is a very, very good tank. I can say right up front before we even get into his kit, we pretty much all agreed that he's the 3rd best tank in the game, and in many instances, he is the ideal tank for a lot of situations. He's hero, global, skill, protector, and of course, military. His counter assist is nothing special, just some flat damage. His basic attack does damage and it chains. It gives him defense up. In war, it will also give defense up to adjacent allies, which is nice. His special is very good. It's going to clear 2 negative effects off him. If he's above half health, he'll taunt. Otherwise, he's going to heal for 20% of his max health, which, as we just mentioned, is a lot of health. And he's going to defense up himself and all allies, and then he's going to heal himself and all allies for 20% of his max health. So if he was below 50%, he will have just healed himself for 40% of his max health. He's then going to give regen to himself and skill military. So that's another 10% of his max health. We can heal himself for 50% of his max health with that one ability. He has a ton of block chance, a good block amount. He's just an absolute pain. So then you have his ultimate, which one of the drawbacks of Red Guardian is his ultimate will be used on first turn by the AI, where he's going to basically steal a positive effect as long as it's not taunt and give it to himself and all skill military. And then he's going to attack primary and adjacent for 500% damage and ability block the primary target. That's somewhat useful having an ability block, but it doesn't really play into how good of a protector he is. On spawn, he's going to get taunt and defense up. And then he's going to give speed up to all skill military allies. But note that he will not give that to himself. So he's going to spawn in with taunt and defense up with his good armor and his good block chance. And he's going to sit there until his 84 speed finally lets him take a turn. So he's just going to be taunting for a while. Essentially completely replacing Drax. In addition, when he drops below half health, he is going to clear taunt and then instantly heal for 30% of his max health. So you want to be careful of pushing him too low, even though you're going to have to start hitting him out the gate. And again, he's got 25% block chance, plus an additional 5% per skill ally, so he can go up to 45% block chance. And he's going to gain an additional 10% block amount. So when he does block, he'll be knocking off more than a third of the damage. He's going to gain 30% max health, as well as giving that to all the skill military allies. And if he has 3 or more skill military allies, he's going to give himself and his team 50% focus. This guy's an absolute beast. We ended up giving him God tier for campaign, raid, and dark dimension, as well as for arena offense, blitz, and alliance war. The only thing we docked him for was we gave him demigod for arena defense, AI, and alliance war defense, and it's because he'll open up with his ultimate instead of his special. Even then, on his team with all the buffs that he's giving them and all the buffs that they're going to give him, he even jumps up to God tier with synergy. But all right, so thank you guys very much for checking out this video. This is the first time that I've ever tried to do like a tier list summary. So if you enjoyed the tier list TLDR, definitely let me know in the comments below if you think that we should do this for each patch, or if you think some other format would be better. I've gone on long enough, so huge shout out to Livepool for editing this video. Big thank you to Livepool and Dance and Dirk for helping me out with the tier list itself. Huge shout out to MSF.gg for making an awesome Discord bot, and for the MSF.gg site in general, which is super useful. You should all check it out. As I mentioned earlier in the video, there's a link to the spreadsheet that you see on the screen here in the video description below, as well as the infographic of the tier list itself. You'll be able to grab that in the video description. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and tickle a stranger, and I will see you guys real soon. Until next time. Peace!